For decades, this image represented the standard promise of American life. The expectation was straightforward. A single income from a steady job guaranteed a home, a car, and a comfortable future for a family. In this era, the math actually supported the promise. A mid-level industrial job generated enough purchasing power to build a stable, debt-free life without requiring extreme wealth or luck. Today, that equation has inverted. Millions of Americans are working longer hours and taking on second jobs, yet they find themselves slipping further behind. This widespread financial exhaustion persists despite record productivity. Millions are following the traditional blueprint to the letter, yet the mathematical outcome has shifted. The economic mechanics changed. Milestones that once served as stepping stones to wealth have evolved into an interconnected system of lifelong debt. The cycle begins at 18 with a societal mandate. You must acquire a college degree to survive the modern economy. This chart shows the primary friction point. Tuition costs moved in an aggressive upward curve, while entry-level salaries remained largely stagnant. Students bridge this gap by borrowing tens of thousands of dollars, banking on the promise of a future salary that is already spoken for. Upon graduation, fixed costs, rent, food, insurance, and taxes immediately claim the bulk of that starting wage. When these blocks are removed from the salary bar, very little remains to service the debt. By normalizing these loans, the system ensures that a citizen's first major adult relationship is with a creditor, delaying their ability to save or invest for years. After education comes the next milestone. These suburban developments represent the ultimate symbol of security and middle-class success. However, as housing prices outpaced wages, outright ownership became impossible for most. The gap between what houses cost and what people earn created a massive demand for long-term financing. The 30-year mortgage became the standard solution. This visualization breaks down a typical monthly payment. For the first 15 years, the overwhelming majority of your money goes towards interest rather than owning the actual property. This level of long-term leverage dictates human behavior. When a household is locked into a 30-year contract, the occupants become entirely dependent on an uninterrupted stream of income, making the prospect of a job loss or a career change a catastrophic risk. For many, the dream home has become a fragile financial arrangement, where a single emergency can lead to a total loss of equity. Beyond these major milestones, the trap is maintained through the daily removal of friction from spending. In the past, borrowing was a deliberate, often difficult process.
The introduction of consumer credit cards, like the early Bank Americard seen here, transformed debt into a mindless daily habit. Social media amplified this effect. The constant visibility of luxury lifestyles creates a psychological pressure to finance the appearance of success, leading many to borrow for items that lose value instantly. While this lifestyle debt is voluntary, it is compounded by a mandatory squeeze. The cost of food, healthcare, and energy has consistently risen, while wages for most workers have remained flat. The combination of easy credit and rising survival costs creates a cycle where people must work continuously to pay the interest on their existence. Prosperity remains accessible, but the standard path most people follow is now paved with these systemic debt traps. Look at this line for savings accounts. In a previous era, simply putting cash in the bank was a reliable way to outpace inflation. Today, achieving that same security requires active investing and a high degree of financial literacy. Despite this, the education system remains focused on academic history and theory, while leaving graduates uneducated about how compounding interest or capital allocation actually works. Without that specific knowledge, individuals default to the outdated milestones they were taught to trust. They end up handing over control of their financial future to the institutions that designed these debt products. The question is whether you are building actual financial freedom or simply financing a convincing illusion of success. Waiting decades to learn the difference is the